Hello, I'm Joyce Woodworth. Welcome to the Spirit of Winona. Central School is one of 4 public elementary schools in Winona. It's a small neighborhood school with only 1 classroom per grade. It's also very unique because it contains antiquities given to the school by the Watkins family. Today we'll see some of these treasures, and we'll talk with one of Central's retired teachers who actually began her teaching career before this building was built. And, of course, we'll see what goes on here today. The original Central School was built in 1873 and stood on the same block as this building. Paul Watkins, the nephew of J.R. Watkins, lived across the street in the Watkins Manor. He sent his 4 children to this school. In 1930, he was vacationing in Venice, Italy at the Hotel Danieli, which still exists as the poshest hotel in Venice. He heard about the construction of a new Central School and immediately wrote the Board of Education, offering to purchase throughout Europe beautifying edifices to insert throughout the walls to lend beauty and dignity to the new Central School. On October 13, 2001, Central School celebrated its 70th anniversary. At the school were Paul's grandchildren, and they talked about these artifacts. Hi, Ruth.
Hi, it's great to be here. My grandfather, Paul Watkins, lived across the street in his big home. And when he was here in Winona, he sent all of his 4 children to the local school, which was on the same block that Central School is on. And so after that, in about 1930, he received a message when he was in Venice, Italy, that the Winona Public Schools was going to build another school. And so he thought that'd be a great opportunity to be able to include some artwork and make it a really, really special place. And so what he did was he began investigating it, began purchasing some things, and he was pleased that this school was done in English design, and he wanted to make this kind of an architectural wonder as far as an elementary school. And so they allowed him to put in some of the artwork, and some of it is not only artwork, but things that are on the wall that are part of the school itself.
Well, Paul, do you know which of these pieces are still left here in the school?
Well, really, most of them. I'm looking around, seeing things that have been inserted in the walls. I see 4 objects there, and on either side of us, these pillars, and behind us, a fountain. And throughout the school, as you walk down the hallways, you'll see things inserted into the walls, which was, I know, part of the, from reviewing this with my sister, part of the information that he discussed with, I believe, the architects and maybe even the contractor, deciding whether to put them in initially as the structure is being put together, or to wait till afterwards and sort of cut holes in the walls and insert them.
The school was finished in 1931 and included many fabulous pieces contributed by Paul Watkins. On both sides of the entrance and on pedestals on either side of the school were huge terracotta vases from Taormina, Sicily, once used to hold olive oil. The vases have since broken and disappeared, but the pedestal of concrete and travertine stone, provided also by Mr. Watkins, still stands as a reminder that antiquities need to be preserved and cared for, or else they vanish. Around the outside of the school are antique stone inserts. Each one is unique. We see coats of arms, medallions with ecclesiastical subjects, and remnants of antique architecture. Probably the most striking objects in the main entrance hall are the 2 antique and excessively rare Istrian stone columns, several hundreds of years old. They are finely carved with 6 bands of human figures, mostly of an ecclesiastical nature, surmounted by beautifully carved capitals. A low arch of native travertine stone provided by the Board of Education connects the ancient pillars. Throughout the inside of the school are traces of Paul Watkins' European purchases. In the downstairs corridors, we see finely carved stone medallions, each one differing from the other, inserted here and there in the walls.
The only things I can think of that are not here any longer, there was a table in the library, there were some plaques on the wall, and they changed the walls in the library that was upstairs. And then I know that the windows were taken out when they decided to bring this up to code as far as energy was concerned. And those, unfortunately, were stored down the basement, and I got to see them many years later, laying in the basement floor with a lot of water around them in a wooden box. And the principal took me down there to take a look at it, and I was, of course, disturbed about it. And I currently have those windows, and what we could do about it, I don't know, but I wanted to save them from destruction.
The stained glass windows were small, square, and oval inserts in various parts of the building. Each piece was different and depicted a scene from either Germany, Holland, or England. Today, they would be considered very rare and valuable.
If this continues to be a school that will survive as an elementary school, I certainly hope that that these items stay here. If it doesn't continue to be a school, I don't know. It'd be nice to see them placed at Winona State College, possibly, or some of them distributed to the Historical Society, but put to good use, because some of them have quite an interesting historical significance.
So does that mean, Paul, that perhaps you'd be willing to give them back to the school and have the school do something with them?
Absolutely.
The turnout for the celebration was terrific. Kids of all ages came to recognize Central's 70th year and to share their memories of the years when Central was a part of their everyday life. The teachers danced with the students, and everyone ate cake and looked at pictures from the past. One of Central's former teachers, who actually began her teaching career before this building was built, shares her thoughts on how teaching has changed and how it has remained the same. I'm currently sitting with Verly Sather, who taught at Central School for many years. Hi, Verly. How many years did you teach here?
17.
17 years.
Mm-hmm.
What were the
1942 to 59.
What was teaching in Central like way back then?
Well, I don't know that it was so different.
Mm-hmm.
I tried, and I think most teachers did, tried to teach for mastery, and tried to teach at the level that a child could learn well. And that was one of the things that I think I did fairly well, because I've heard people say now that they didn't realize that I had reading groups, for instance. So that meant they weren't smug about being in the top group or weren't feeling bad about being in the lower group. I always felt that people used to say that teaching first grade didn't matter so much if they missed a bit. And I used to try to explain to parents that reading, it was sort of like a brick wall, the bricks, separate bricks. And if children missed one of these bricks and then missed another one up here, then the thing would cave in because they had missed that. They needed to master the base as it went along. I started teaching in 1928, 27. And at that time, I went to Winona State Teachers College, and I had 2 years of college. And that was par for the course. Then I was able to teach in town. I was qualified to teach in town. I took the kindergarten primary course. And that year, I graduated in 1926 from Winona State, or Winona Teachers College. And that was the year that the first people had a bachelor's degree, and there were just 3 of them. So then I got the rest of the 2 years, summer schools. When I came to Winona in 1942, I had just gotten my degree. I was hired with the idea that I finish and get my degree that summer. $1,200 a year. If you were married, you broke your contract. But when I came here in 1942, it was during World War II. There was a teacher shortage then, and so they started taking in married teachers here, but they called them long-term subs. They weren't hired on the same basis as we were. They would be there for the year, and then at the end of the year, they cut them off. And there was a differential between the men and the women, too.
The men got more money.
The men got $400 more.
What about the children? Do you think the children are the same today as they were back then?
Well, in some ways, and in some ways not. They are so much more worldly wise now. They've been exposed to so much television and so much traveling. They can just do anything. They have so much experience when they start school, and so much that they get. Their parents go on trips, and they've gone here and there and so on. So in that way, they've had, I know when I started school, I was so bashful. I came in from the country, and I think, we didn't see other people have those chances. So I think in some ways it's harder teaching now.
Now we're sitting in a room that was once your classroom here.
Right.
It's changed quite a bit, hasn't it?
It's changed quite a bit. These cupboards behind me were part of my room. They put a wall in and made office space, and a nurse's. I think this is a nurse's room.
Tell me what it meant to you to be a teacher for so many years of young children.
I remember a first grade child said, "Miss Sather, are you married?" I said, "No." "Do you have any children?" "No." And then she looked at me sorrowfully and she said, "Then you can never be a grandma, can you?" So I haven't had the joy of having children or grandchildren, but I've been lucky to have a lot of other people's children.
Right. This warm and caring attitude seems to have stayed within the walls of Central School and is certainly apparent in the first grade classroom. I'm standing with Judy Whetstone, who's the first grade teacher at Central School, and she's going to tell us what Central School is like today. Hi, Judy. Welcome to the Spirit of Winona.
Well, hi. Welcome back, Joyce. I remember from a parent and having all your 3 kids in school. So
yes, I was involved here for 13 years.
Yes, you were a good help, too, a great volunteer. And Central had lots of volunteers, and we still do.
Do we?
Yeah, we still have lots of parents helping. And Central is such a wonderful school. It really hasn't changed, except I would say like technology is a little bit different than it was years ago. And the rooms are different. We have one section of everything. When I first came to Central, there was one first grade and a combination first and second, and a second grade, 2/3, 2/4, 2/5, and 2/6. And then special ed, our special needs program, took over 2 of the rooms. So we lost 2 classrooms, and now we're a single section school.
Well, Judy, how long have you taught here?
I was hired in 1975, and so I've been a first grade teacher here all that time.
You never taught at any other schools?
No other school, and just first grade.
Well, I know you're a special teacher, but I know this is a special school. Right. Why do you think this is a special school?
Well, it's a neighborhood school, which is really important. Most of the boys and girls walk here. And the parents are all here to get them after school. When the bell rings and I go out, the hall is lined with kindergarten parents, first grade parents, and then the kids stay after school and play on the playground with their parents.
Central School is very much like it always has been, with the inclusion of new, innovative teaching techniques. One which works very well in Mrs. Whetstone's class is the 1st and 5th grade Partners Program. Tell me what that partner program's about.
Well, once a week we get together and do different projects, either some writing projects, some art projects, reading projects, anything that the 5th graders can help the first graders with.
So the 5th graders are sort of acting as a mentor for the first graders, is that right?
That's right. Gives them some responsibility, and the first graders really look forward to the meeting with them. And they see them on the playground. They're wonderful friends.
Okay, hi guys. Hi. What's your names?
Come on. Savannah.
Hi Savannah. What grade are you in, Savannah?
First grade.
Okay, and what's your name?
Katie.
And what grade are you in, Katie?
Fifth.
Okay, and tell me how come the first grade and the 5th grade are together in this classroom.
We're 5th grade partners.
And what do 5th grade partners do?
They help each other, right? And we color, and then we do activities and reading and stuff.
Oh, you're reading. And does your 5th grade partner help you read? So is she a good teacher?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what does the first grader do for you?
Well, every once in a while, yeah, she reads to me, and she always draws me pictures.
Down the hall from the first grade is Joni Cloggy's kindergarten classroom. We come upon them playing a counting game, and one of the students tells us all about it.
4, 5, 6.
What's your name?
Zach.
Hi, Zach. What are you doing here? What kind of a game is this?
The counting game.
The counting game? How does that work, Zach?
Well, you have to pick a number. When you get on it, go down which number.
Oh, okay, let me see if I understand this. So now if you say 3, then you go 1, 2, 3, and then what happens on 3?
You go down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So tell me, what goes on in kindergarten today?
Kindergarten is all day, every day, so it's a lot different than it was when your children were in my class many years ago, and it's a long day for some of the kids, but we have tried to make it still fun and a lot of play, and a lot of socialization is still the number one thing for kindergarten. We do a lot of books. You read and read and read, and that's my favorite area of teaching. Mm-hmm. And of course we do our counting, and we have to learn the numbers up to 1 to 12. They learn a lot of the sounds and the letters and the sounds that they make, but they're doing it in a fun, playful way.
What's the most unique thing about Central School?
I think the caring and the concern and the love of all the people together. You know, we all care about each other. And I think the parents, the kids, the teachers, the whole staff, I think that's really been special. And I think the continuity of just having the same people, everybody, the children feel so secure here. Mm-hmm. I guess maybe that's what's so special about it.
Sister plays the guitar. Sister plays the guitar. Plays the drums. Brother plays the drums. Baby boogie woogie. A baby boogie woogie. Sucking its thumb. Sucking its thumb. Boogie woogie rock. Boogie woogie roll. Boogie woogie roll. Boogie woogie roll. Boogie woogie baby boogie. Rock and roll.
On the second floor are classrooms for grades 2 through 5. Also is a small library and a nice-sized media center. As the third graders walk back to their classrooms, we see a hall that is utilized for more than passage. Tables and chairs are set up in small groupings for individual work, and jungle walking sticks are observing from their aquarium. Jan Hiram, the second grade teacher who took her students on an imaginary trip to Central America this year, is inside her room giving her students a vocabulary test.
The next word in that word box area is, say it if you know it, invention. And the last choice for an answer is president. Okay. Would you make sure you don't say the answer out loud? Okay. Is part of the of California. What would that be? Landmark, history, settlers, invention, or president? You want to find the right answer and put it on the first line, please. And then you should have to finish it up.
At the end of the hall is Judy Yes's fifth grade classroom. Mrs. Yes is currently going over the day's assignments with the students.
Math today was 4-2, is that right? And 4-1. And
Several of the fifth graders share what they like about their school with us.
Leah, what do you like about going to Central School?
Well, the teachers are nice. Actually get to know everybody since it's like a small school. You don't like switch around classes, and you always know you're going to be with your friends.
What's your name?
Amber.
Amber, what do you like about Central School?
There's fun activities.
A lot of fun activities. What kind of activities do you like here?
Art.
My name is Lance.
Lance?
Yeah.
Lance, what do you like about Central School?
I like that it's a fun and positive place. I like how you're in first grade and then you go to second grade, then you go to third grade, then you go to fourth. It's just fun.
Mm-hmm.
The school needs to be kept open.
Have you gone here since kindergarten?
No, but I've been here since first.
Mm-hmm. Do you walk to school?
I bike to school and sometimes I ride with my mom.
Okay.
Mr. Steve Walter's 4th grade classroom sits between the 3rd and 5th grade classrooms. The outside appearances of his room seems to focus on the Disney theme. However, Mr. Walter's focus is much deeper than the bedazzlement of Disney World. With 34 stars hanging from his ceiling, one for every week of the school year, he teaches much more than academics. He instills the principles of life. His students tell us how the stars work.
Summer.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good.
So what grade are you in here at Central School?
4th.
And who's your teacher?
Mr. Walter, and he's very cool.
Is he? Okay, so I guess you like your 4th grade class here at Central. And I noticed in your 4th grade there's lots of stars hanging from the ceiling. Can you explain what they are all about?
Well, each star has a own name, and the circles are things that, like, everyone will succeed and no violence. And the stars, you have to earn them before you can hang your name on them. Everyone's gotten positive person because our whole team is super positive. We write in just a journal almost every day about how we're earning it, and then we do a rough draft for that star, and then we put it in our blue pride journal.
Okay, what star are you on up here?
I'm on a lot of them because everyone has earned 14, and we're going to earn our 15th this Friday, and everyone doesn't have to have their, they can pick any star, and everyone's on positive person. I'm the maker of sense of humor. If you're the maker of finishes work on time, you do a lot than a lot of other people do on that star.
Okay, you did a super job. Thank you so much. Hi, Emma. What star are you on?
I'm on Makes Good Choices, which is right behind you.
Okay. What does that mean?
It means that you make good choices, and not only like choosing the right thing, but making sure that you help other people to make the good choices too.
What star are you on?
Shows kindness.
Shows kindness. Does that mean that you're a kind person? Okay, good job.
Shares feelings.
Shares. What does that mean?
That means that if something happened, you tell somebody and they make you feel better, and you tell them everything that happened. Courage.
Really?
The star means you have enough courage, almost like Taylor over there, to have enough courage to speak up in front of all those people, in front of a kid that may not be as nice as you. Someone like anyone in this room almost. It's like getting rid of a gremlin, which is a little bad feeling in your stomach. It also means to have the courage to speak up when you did something wrong, or any other thing close related to that.
My name is Stephanie Richardson, and I was a positive person. And I think that star means that you work with a girl or a boy, and you'll never have a negative attitude, or when someone got you mad, you won't go, oh yeah, you better get mad at that person, and you won't go over there and say like negative things to them.
We play hard and fast.
Not only does Steve Walter instill life lessons for getting along with one another, but he also has a special program for instilling the personal pleasure of lifelong reading.
Attaboy. And wait for your picture.
This is Steve Walter, who's a 4th grade teacher at Central School. Hi, Steve.
Hi.
Tell me what you're doing here today with these kids.
Well, we're getting ready for tomorrow night's performance of the 20th annual Reading Olympic program. This program's been going on and involving parents and students for the last 20 years.
It's a really unique program, I know, because my kids were in this program. Tell us a little bit about what this program's all about.
Well, the whole idea started 20 years ago when the Olympics were on, and I decided that children get rewarded for every sport under the sun, but not very often are we rewarded for reading, and reading is a lifetime activity. So the Reading Olympics was born, and what they do are read books, and they attempt to win a bronze, a silver, or a gold medal. Well, all of these kids won a medal, And so tomorrow evening, they're going to be presented in front of 150 parents, friends, and relatives.
Great. So what do they have to do to win a gold medal?
Well, it is not a competition, so every one of the kids read books throughout the quarter, discuss the books with their parents, and the books have been designated from 1 point up to 10 points. 10 points is the most difficult book. And then they choose how many books they want to read. And at the end of the quarter, we tally up those points. 30 points earns a bronze, 40 points gets a silver, and 50 points gets a gold.
This is a real motivator, isn't it, for the kids?
Oh, I think they like it. Do you like it?
Yeah! Hit it, Maestro.
We go for the gold. We go for the best we can. We reach with our hearts. Our destiny's in our hands. We give our most, our best, our brightest light. We go for the
Central School, as we have seen, is a typical traditional neighborhood school. It's also very unique in its artifacts and all of its history. This has been Joyce Woodworth on the Spirit of Winona. Till next week, enjoy the Spirit of Winona.